The first time I heard my name, I thought it came from the hallway. It was soft, almost careful, like someone checking if I was awake. I paused the music and listened to the silence. Nothing moved. No footsteps, only the distant hum of the building. The night. I told myself it was imagination. Old places make strange sounds, and loneliness has a way of turning shadows into voices when you stay quiet long enough. The second time was closer. I was sitting at the desk, pretending to focus on something meaningless, when the whisper came from behind me. My name, slow and familiar, like a memory trying to return. I turned too fast, heart racing, expecting to see someone standing near the wall. But the room was empty. The mirror reflected the same stillness, yet for a moment I thought I saw movement near the window. A shadow pulling away before I could understand what it was. That night I didn't sleep. Every small noise felt deliberate. The pipes, the wind pressing against the glass, the distant elevator stopping somewhere below. The silence felt heavy, like the apartment was waiting. When the whisper returned, it wasn't behind me anymore. It came from the empty room across the hall, a place that had always felt colder than the rest of the apartment. I hesitated before opening the door. The light flickered as I stepped inside, revealing dust floating slowly through the air. Then I heard it again. My name. Not angry, not desperate, just patient. I asked who was there, but my voice sounded too loud inside that quiet space. The silence that followed felt alive, stretching longer than it should have. The whisper moved again, sliding across the room, never revealing its source. It felt like someone standing just outside my vision, waiting for me to turn the wrong way. I closed my eyes, trying to understand if the sound was real or something my mind had created to escape the emptiness. And then it spoke, right beside my ear. I froze. The air turned cold enough to make my skin ache, and for a moment I could feel something close. Close enough to exist, yet impossible to see. After that night, the apartment changed. Not haunted, not alive, just aware. I started leaving lights on, filling the rooms with noise to avoid hearing the voice again. But silence always finds its way back. Days passed, and I began noticing small changes. Reflections that lingered too long, shadows shifting when I wasn't looking directly at them, the strange feeling of being watched when no one was there. One evening, as rain pressed softly against the window, I heard my name again. Softer than ever, almost gentle. It didn't come from the hallway or the empty room. It felt closer, deeper, as if it was coming from somewhere inside the silence itself. I whispered back without thinking, asking what it wanted, but the question disappeared unanswered. Now, when the apartment grows completely still, I say my own name out loud, just to hear how it sounds in the dark. Most nights, nothing happens. But every now and then, in the space between one breath and the next, I hear a whisper repeating it with me. Quiet, patient, and closer than it has ever been before. For a while, I tried to ignore the feeling that something had changed after that night. I moved through the apartment more slowly, listening to the silence between every sound. Even the smallest noises felt heavier, as if they carried meaning I couldn't understand yet. Sometimes I would stop in the middle of the hallway and wait, convinced that if I stayed still long enough, the whisper would return on its own. I started noticing how often my eyes drifted toward the empty room without realizing it. The door remained slightly open, letting a thin line of darkness stretch across the floor. It felt less like a place and more like a pause in reality, a space where time moved differently. I never saw anything there, but the feeling of being watched never truly left. One night I sat near the doorway, letting the quiet settle around me. I said my own name out loud just to hear how it sounded, hoping the echo would prove that I was alone. The word faded slowly into the air, and for a moment nothing answered back. Then, almost hidden beneath my own voice, I thought I heard a second whisper repeating it. Softer, slower, like a memory trying to stay alive. Since then, the apartment feels larger at night, as if the walls move farther away when everything goes quiet. I don't know if the voice belongs to someone else, or if it has always been part of me waiting for the right moment to be heard. But every evening when the lights grow dim and the silence becomes deeper, I find myself listening again, waiting for the next whisper.